Wait. Declan Kane guy. Wait, is his name Declan? Hello lovelies and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Peyton and I kind of do all things bookish and reading oriented here on this channel. I'm gonna need you to bear with me for this video because it is currently 27 degrees here in where I live in BC, and it feels like 29, so it's very warm. For us here, we're in a little bit of a heat wave right now. Anyways, I wanted to get some stuff done in the meantime, and I've been feeling really inspired, and honestly, summers just feel like a time for YouTube channels for me. I love my YouTube channel, and I first started it 2 summers ago, so 2 years ago, during the summer, and it feels kind of crazy. Wait, no, I would have started it 3 years ago during the summer. No, 2 years ago, yeah. And it just feels really nostalgic and right to be making YouTube videos in the summer. So here we are. I haven't been as active as I've wanted to be over the past month. I've kind of been inactive posting reels and posts on my Instagram. Yeah, that's just life lately. I don't know what to say. However, I have been keeping up with my reading during this busy time, thankfully. So I thought we would do a little reading update since I last updated you guys. So last time I did a reading update would have been end of April. It's currently beginning of July, so we have May and June to cover in this little reading wrap up. I've been a huge Kindle girly ever since I got my Kindle, so I actually haven't been reading a lot of physical books. I read 2 physical books this month, and one of them I didn't even read the physical copy because it was on Kindle Unlimited, so I read 1 physical book. It feels kind of weird to hold a book now. And I never thought I would be that person. I used to love reading paperbacks and like all that jazz until I got my Kindle and started reading on my Kindle, and I can't look back now. It feels like very weird to read a physical book. Anyways, a little update on my Goodreads reading goal. So I want to read 65 books this year, and I have read 33, so I'm currently on track. I just caught up. I was like 2 or 3 books behind, and I just caught up this week because I've been doing a lot of reading, and I like went to the lake and read there, and I've had a lot of migraines actually, so I've been reading a lot when I'm not feeling well. You know, health issues kid, core, you know. I actually am getting out of a little bit of the reading rut, so I was having a really hard time finding like good 5-star books that I loved reading, and that really reminded me why I loved reading, because I was reading a lot of like really subpar, mediocre books. I recently found some good ones again, and I've been doing a lot of rereading recently, as you're gonna see with this reading update. So in the past 2 months, I've read 12 books. I read a lot less in June, and May was kind of the crazy reading month for me. But let's get started with what I read end of April, beginning of May. I actually read The Graham Effect, which is by Elle Kennedy. I really love Elle Kennedy's books, and I have ever since I read The Deal. I actually don't own the physical copy, and it was on Kindle Unlimited, and I just couldn't resist reading it. I do really want the physical copy though, so I will be buying that in the upcoming months most likely. It was really good. I can see myself rereading this book. I've actually gotten the urge to reread it a few times already because now I'm a rereading girly. Very new development. Okay, so I love a traumatized character. Like a traumatized book boyfriend with like a dark backstory. But I read a lot of like romance that takes place in our current times, and like a lot of the time the traumatizing backstory is like tends to be the same plot line every romance book. Like there's a few traumatic backstories, but most of them are a family member dying, or a best friend dying, or a sibling dying, or just death. And normally it follows like the exact same plot structure, and the exact same thing happens in romance books. So this book was not like that, and oh my goodness, you don't know our main guy character's trauma. You don't know Ryder's trauma until much later on in the book. But it was the secret sauce, guys. OMG. And I loved hearing from Garrett Graham as a father. Him and Gigi's relationship was so adorable, and I loved it so much. I don't, like, Gigi didn't make a huge imprint on me as, like, a character, because I can't really remember a lot about her, but I do remember I really liked how there was female hockey representation, and that was a highlight for me. And you want to hear something crazy? I was like, this is the Graham effect. Nothing is ever gonna live up to the deal, because they're just making more books at this point. Like, they're just pushing a legacy on that shouldn't be continuing, if that makes sense. So I wasn't actually, I wanted to read this book. It was a very anticipated read for me. I rated it a 5-star because why is he like the next Graham? Why is he the next Garrett? Why is Luke Ryder the next Garrett Graham, guys? I was not expecting this turn of events, quite frankly, and I was very happy about it. This is my new deal, guys, and Elle Kennedy did it once again, and I don't know how, especially since I went into this book with, like, low expectations and was like, it might fall flat, and it didn't. What is this witchcraft? Elle Kennedy, you are so talented. You should go read it immediately if you're a romance reader. Yeah, I did bawl my eyes out like once or twice in this book, which was very unexpected, but I did. Then I read The Bodyguard by Catherine Center. This was my first Catherine Center book, and like Haley Pham and Destiny Sidwell and Sarah Caroli all love her books, so I figured I would give it a shot. I rated it 3.75 stars. I thoroughly enjoyed it. 3.75 stars for me is a really good rating. Like, it wasn't quite a 3.5, but it wasn't a 4 stars either. Like, we don't want to get too wild, you know? But I really enjoyed it. It was really cute, and I really like the romance. I still agree with the 3.75 star rating because I can't remember a lot of it. I can remember I thought the plot and the premise was such a cool idea, and I was pretty enthralled from the beginning. I thought the fake dating could have been done a little bit better. This comes from someone who reads so much fake dating. I felt like we could have, like, embellished on it a little bit more. Would I recommend it? Yeah, I would still recommend it. I read it on audiobook, actually, and maybe I would have liked it more if I read the physical book. Then I read Funny Story by Emily Henry. So I love this book. It wasn't quite a 5-star for me, and I know it's so picky, but it's Emily Henry, so I could easily rate it 4.75. The only reason I didn't rate it 5 was because I didn't get that 5-star feeling that you know, the 5-star feeling. However, I did like annotate it a ton. I really liked Miles Novak. He was a great character. I thought the characters were so well fleshed out in this book. I had a great time with it. Why it didn't get the full 5 stars is simply because I've read Beach Read, and that is a full 5 stars. And this was not quite as good as Beach Read. Like, it wasn't as good as Beach Read. However, it did make me like Emily Henry even more and make me realize none of her books miss. I haven't read Happy Place, but I've read her other books. And for me, it's Book Lovers is at the bottom, then People We Meet on Vacation, like right here. And then we have Funny Story right here and Beach Read right here. So they're pretty close. Just Beach Read is so good. Beach Read will change your life. It's so hard because every single one of her books has to live up to the expectations Beach Read has set. And this one was very close to being perfection, being that it was fake dating and everything, and it was very romance heavy. 2 things I love. Miles Novak was great, but he wasn't Augustus Heatherette. Great character. I loved his character. That is no fault to his character. It's just, Augustus is like, he's next level. Then I reread The Spanish Love Deception. I did rate it 5 stars the second time because I still feel like it's a really groundbreaking, like, good book. However, I didn't really love reading it the second time. I feel like it's rather surface level. Like, you read it one time and it's like enough. I feel like this is the type of book it is. Maybe if I read it like 5 years later after I forgot what happened, that would be fun. I still feel like it deserved the 5 stars though, because it was 5 stars the first time for sure. Like, the plot is there, the chemistry is there, the guy in the, like, Aaron Blackford slays every time. But it wasn't like there was some deeper meaning and it was amazing to reread. No, it was kind of boring and lackluster at times because I knew everything that happened, but it was still that 5 stars the first time, so it felt wrong not to rate it the 5 stars just because the 5-star feeling had worn off reading it the second time. I read Terms and Conditions, which is the second book in the Dreamland Billionaire series. I haven't read the other books. I haven't read the first book. But this was fake dating, so we all know where fake dating goes, I follow. I actually took a huge reading break in the middle of this book, so I put it down for 2 months. 2 months. And then I picked it back up, finished it, and was like, that is a 5 stars. The chemistry was great. The grumpy man was it was properly done. He was actually grumpy. He actually was traumatized. He actually had a hard life, and he was actually caring, loving, and sweet, and this redefined Grumpy Sunshine for me, guys. This is the OG Grumpy Sunshine series, I believe. But I haven't really read the Dreamland Billionaire series, and I don't read a lot of billionaire romance. Most of the time, they play sports, and yeah, they have a lot of money, but it's not really a focal point because it's a sports romance. It's kind of the side point. Declan Kane guy. Wait, is his name Declan? Also, the groveling, top tier in this book. Iris was also such a likable, feisty character. Next, I read In Your Dreams, Holden Rhodes by Stephanie Archer. So the thing about me is I absolutely love Stephanie Archer books. This is my least favorite of her books so far, though. I didn't like the couple or the chemistry. The only reason I rated it, the 3.5 stars I gave it, is because the writing was good and the setting was good. But I didn't like the couple. I didn't think they were meant to be, honestly. I could have been I would have been fine if they didn't end up together, and that is not a good sign in a romance book. But still, the writing is well done. Stephanie Archer knows what she's doing, so even when I didn't like the romance in a romance book, I still liked the book. I felt like the third act breakup should have broken them up for good. So I read The Right Move, which is in the Windy Cities book series. The Right Move, I ended up rating 4 stars. It's a good book, but I wasn't obsessed with it. I know everyone else is in love with it. Everyone and their mother loves this book, but I didn't. I didn't dislike it. There were no fireworks. There was no I'm in love with Ryan Shea. No, that wasn't me. I was like, Ryan Shea's great. I get that. I had no problem with him whatsoever, but I'm not feeling the fireworks. It's not altering my brain chemistry, okay? And I know all my friends, this is one of their 5-star reads, and they are in love with it. It wasn't my 5-star read. I don't also remember a lot from it. If I had rated it 3.5, I think I would have been okay with that too, but we'll work with the 4 stars. Maybe it's because it was basketball. I'm not a huge basketball girly. You know what I am, though? A hockey girly. Hockey romances all the way. And I'm currently reading Mile High, which is the hockey book. And I'm sorry, but I love Xander so much more than I love Ryan Shea, and that is a very unpopular opinion. I read The Summer of Broken Rules. I rated it 3.5 stars because it was a good book and the ending kind of saved it, but personally, it could have been better. The romance could have been better. I also really didn't like the third act breakup. It was cute near the end. I feel like the ending, the cuteness at the end really saved it. I feel like if they were adults, I would have enjoyed this book so much more. But they were teenagers, and I feel like it bothered me. I feel like if Emily Henry wrote this exact premise and plotline, it would have been so much better. Then I read The Singles Table and rated it 1.5 stars. I'm not going to dwell on this book too much because I really did not like it. I just liked it so much. I read it on audiobook. It was my first book of June. And I think I would have disliked it even more if I read the physical copy, because what my problem with it was the writing. And the characters. They had so many red flags to me. At least the guy, whatever his name was, J. Ray. No, that was not his name. Jay Donovan. That was his name? Okay. Yeah, I, for the life of me, cannot remember the main plot line of this entire book. The guy was, like, really disliking therapy, and, like, therapy, I don't need therapy. And I was like, bro, I think everyone needs therapy. That's just my opinion. We're all kind of messed up. Hello. It is dinner and one viewing at the Hunger Games later. But we are back. And we left off on That Kind of Guy. So That Kind of Guy, the first time I read it, I rated it 4.5 stars. This was a reread, and the reread I rated 5 stars. I love this book. And it's rare that a romance gets better the second time you read it, but Stephanie Archer's writing is so good. I don't know whose writing it reminds me of. It kind of has a similar feel to Ashley Poston's writing, in my opinion, except less literary fiction, more romance focused, but it's very, very good writing. The fake dating is done so very well. I can see myself reading it a third time in the upcoming months, so that's how good it is. It's the kind of book you just crave when you're not reading it, like your favorite food. Are you ready for this? The next book I read was called Just Don't Fall, and this is the best book I've read this year. It was really short. It was only 320 pages. I read it on Kindle Unlimited. It's by Emma St. Clair. It's a hockey romance, okay? That's all you need to know. It's a hockey romance. It's brother's best friend. Friends to lovers, I would say, and I normally hate friends to lovers, but it is done so well. So well. And it had been on my TBR for months, and I was like, it might not be that good. I had put it on my TBR because I'd read the prompt, and it was fake dating, and I was... I love fake dating, guys. Okay, I will read anything fake dating, and it's my mission in life to read all the fake dating books I can find. I had put it on my TBR on Goodreads for like 6 months. I don't know why I didn't pick it up. Oh, best book I've read so far this year, and I've read a lot of good books. If you can't tell, I rated this book 5 stars very easily. And I was kind of in a reading slump for a while there where I wasn't reading any good new books. Like, I was rereading, and, you know, it was kind of just that In Your Dreams, Holden Roads, The Right Move, The Summer of Broken Rules, and The Singles Table, none of them have really hit for me. And then That Kind of Guy was a reread, so it wasn't like the brand new book feels. So I read Just Don't Fall, and it like broke my sort of reading slump of sorts. Now we're on to the last book I read in June. So I read this in the last few days of June. It was another reread. So I read The Fake Out, which is my favorite Stephanie Archer book. This is my second time rereading it, so overall my third time reading this book. The characters are great. The plot is there. It's my two favorite tropes. My favorite genre, hockey romance, and my favorite trope, fake dating, together. If you haven't read this book, please read this book. So that is all the books I have read recently. I'm actually starting Powerless by Lauren Roberts tonight, and I have been waiting forever to read this book, and the second one just came out, so I thought now is the perfect time. So those were the 12 books I read in May and June. Let me know if you want me to do a reading wrap-up every month, like shorter reading wrap-up, so once a month, or if you like these like big every few months reading wrap-up. It is currently so hot. It is so hot in my room. So right now it's 29 degrees. It's gone up 2 degrees since I started filming this video. You know, when people say hot girl summer, they mean legitimately like sweating hot, right? So I read 12 books this month, and every single one of them was a romance. I have so many fantasy books to get to, so I'm hoping I'm entering my fantasy era and I start it tonight. That brings us to the end of this video. Thank you for listening to me yap and ramble about random book stuff. And if you somewhat like me, liked my rambles, liked my ranting, make sure to like and subscribe and join our cute little community. I love you guys. You are the absolute best. And I will see you guys in the next one, lovelies.